I bet some of you guys thought I forgot about this, huh? Welcome to my video on the final batch of the Crystal 60 Awakenings that Global will be receiving. So in this video, I will be discussing each character, breaking down what their awakening will bring them, and then at the end of the video, I'll have some closing thoughts on the characters who I'll be awakening, and then just some miscellaneous stuff about the banners themselves. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So first up, we have Yang, who is the yellow crystal passive color, rather. This awakening batch is interesting because there are 3 yellows and there are 3 reds featured. So I'm going to be doing the yellows first and the reds second. So Yang's up first. So his Crystal 54 buff boost and speed slightly raises his max brave by 20% and his speed small while buffed. His Crystal 55 kick extension increases kick's max uses by 1. When using kick or kick plus, raises brave based on attack first. Increases its number of hits to 2, tremendously raises its total potency, and slightly raises the splash damage dealt with Kick Plus. And then his Crystal 58 buff attack and boost slightly raises max brave by 20%, and his attack by 20% while buffed. So his 55 is really nice because it helps raise that splash damage from Kick. For a while, Yang was the only source of splash damage we had in Global. Then Squall came along, and now we have Setzer and a whole bunch of characters. Palom now is laying the wood with splash damage, so splash damage is always nice. So his Crystal 60 is Focus Extension, increases Focus's max uses by 2, raises Brave by 50% of his attack, turns his HP attack into an HP attack plus for 5 turns after using Focus. He does not have an EX ability. For each character I'll be listing if they have an EX or not, and if they do, I'll list the details. So the recommended artifacts for Yang are Attack 108 and Max Brave 330. Those are really the only 2 that you should really be looking for him. The Attack 108, of course, that goes without saying, and always more Max Brave is always nice for more damage. So next up we have Raijin Cajun. His Crystal 54, Thunder Attack and Boost, moderately raises Max Brave by 60% and his attack by 40%, while his Thunder Stance is active. And his Crystal 55 passive is a Fist Extension, increases Fist's max uses by 1, slightly raises the potency of Fist and Fist Plus, slightly raises the potency of physical attack up and extends its duration by 2 turns, and triggers an HP attack when Brave is over 80% max Brave. So, nice getting the HP attack there at the end of his first ability, and he's getting some nice potency boosts as well. So his Crystal 58 is Thunder Attack All, slightly raises the party's attack by 20% while the Thunder Stance is active. You're noticing a trend here. Thunder Stance has to be active for this guy to be doing anything here. And his Crystal 60 is Raijin Special Extension. Raises the max uses of the special by 2. Tremendously raises its total potency. Slightly raises the potency of the max Brave up. Brave stolen from the target can overflow up to 150% of max Brave. And slightly raises the potency of Brave Attack Plus. So, gets a nice overflow, some extra uses, tremendous potency increase. Good stuff, good stuff. He does not have an EX ability in JP at the moment. And his recommended artifacts, no particular order, are Attack 108, Lightning and Thunder Boost 2-star, and Max Brave 330. The Lightning and Thunder Boost raises his stats even more when he's in that Thunder Stance, so you could just double down on that and just keep building his stats up and up and up. Okay, and the last character we have of the yellow color for this batch is Lilisette. So, her Crystal 54 buff attack and speed all slightly raises the party's attack by 20% and speed small while buffed. Her Crystal 55 Whirling Edge Extension raises the Brave gain slightly based on max Brave, raises Allies Brave based on damage dealt, and allows her Brave Attack Plus to raise party Brave based on max Brave. So, right away, Lilisette's getting some really nice stuff. Buff attack, speed all, nice party buff, which is great because that does stack with her Moonshade Butterfly passive. And the Whirling Edge extension, now she gets the Brave Plus, so now she can battery just by Brave attacking like Sith and Ramza. And also now Whirling Edge will battery just when you use it, based on damage dealt. So really, really good stuff. Her Crystal 58 buff boost moderately raises max Brave by 60% while buffed. That is massive, a massive amount. The biggest thing, because I ended up trying to use Lilisette in Agris's EX, seeing if I could bring her along. And the thing I noticed was her max Brave was so low, and that buff boost will really, really help with her, getting off the ground and keeping up with all the other Awakened characters. And her Crystal 60 passive is Sensual Dance Extension. Extends the duration of all debuffs inflicted by Sensual Dance. Slightly raises the Brave gain based on max Brave. Turns HP attack to HP attack plus for 6 turns after using Sensual Dance. Her HP attack, her HP plus now is an HP attack and heals her own HP by 10% of the damage dealt. So now she's healing herself with the HP plus. The debuffs are extended. A lot of good stuff there. So she does have an EX ability in JP. It's called Rousing Samba and Dancer's Fury. Thank you to Cydia DB for the information. I will make sure to link that in the description. So it raises the party Brave based on her max Brave, and it grants her Rousing Samba for 6 turns. So the EX ability itself triggers Dancer's Fury. It's a 3-hit melee Brave HP attack, and the Brave Stolen can overflow up to 150%. So nice overflow. With Rousing Samba, the buff she gives herself has the following effects. Raises self max Brave, raises party critical hit rate, and raises the party max Brave overflow limit. So raising overflow limit for the party is a pretty rare buff at this point in JP. As far as I know, only a small handful of characters have that ability. And so I think that's a really loaded EX, really nice EX to have. And it gives her a nice way to dump Brave and to shave, since she has no shaving ability whatsoever at the moment. And then her recommended artifacts are Moonshade Butterfly Boost 2-star. I think that's unequivocally her best option because it's a party buff. It's basically like Terra's Trance ability, where if she's above 50% health, Lilisette is boosting the party's Int Brave, Max Brave, Attack, and something else. I don't remember the last one. It might be, is it Defense? Yeah, it might be Defense. By 5%. Really, really good stuff. And then Max Brave 330 and Attack 108 help her as well. Okay, so let's move on over to the red characters on the Awakening batch. So we'll go ahead and start with Aphrodite Sazh. His Crystal 54 is Start Speed Up, slightly raises his speed by a small amount for 3 turns when the battle ends. So that's really nice for him, able to immediately get his buffs up on the party without the enemy being able to react. And his Crystal 55 is Aim Extension, increases Aim's max uses by 2, increases its number of hits to 2, tremendously raises its total potency, and triggers an HP attack after use. So that's really nice. Now Sazh can really do some nice shaving. He always could. Aim always had a really strong potency for its time when he got his 35 CP and was just wrecking stuff. But now it's getting a tremendous potency increase and HP attack. So his Crystal 58 is Buff Attack and Boost. Moderately raises Max Brave by 60% and Attack by 40% while buffed. Incredible. So he's always going to be buffed. Pretty much you can guarantee Sazh will always be buffed unless something terrible is going wrong. So he's getting tremendous buffs to himself. And then his Crystal 60 Attack Boost Extension grants the effects of Attack Boost to all party members. All party members now, one use. So for anyone that was playing back then, Sazh's 35 CP, the Attack Boost buff, basically broke the game. Broke the game for months. And so now it's getting applied to everybody. Slightly raises the potency of attack up, raises the party's Brave based on attack, and turns Brave Attack to Brave Attack Plus for 6 turns. So now not only does it buff the party, the entire party, it now batteries as well, and gives him a Brave Attack Plus for 6 turns. So Sazh does not have an EX ability in JP at the moment, and his recommended artifacts are Attack 108 and Max Brave 330. I guess you could also add the aim, the passive that boosts his aim skill damage by 10%. But I think Attack 108 and Max Brave 330 are the best ones to go after. Oh, and Buff Boost 2-star as well, which raises his Max Brave by 5% when buffed. That's a good one too. So now we have Yuffie. So her Crystal 54, Buff Attack and Speed, moderately raises attack by 40% and her speed by a medium amount while buffed. And her Crystal 55 is Snatch Extension, increases Snatch's max uses by 1, lowers the target's Brave by half when Snatch is used. So now, even if they have a colossal amount of Brave, you know, we saw those floating guys and Agress's EX where they'd buff themselves up to like 18,000 Brave or something, gone, 9,000 immediately gone. Increases the number of hits to 2, tremendously raises its total potency, and triggers an HP attack if Brave is over 80% max Brave, which if you're absorbing, you know, a bunch of Brave from Snatch and, you know, with the 2 hits, the tremendous extra potency, it's pretty much always going to be doing an HP attack. So her Crystal 58 is Buff Boost All, slightly raises the party's max Brave by 20% while buffed. And then her Crystal 60. Oh my god, this is loaded. This might be one of the most loaded passes in the entire game. Okay, so I don't need this extension. Here we go. So it increases the max uses of I don't need this by 1. Inflicts small int brave down, small max brave down, small attack down, and small defense down for 3 turns before applying reflected debuffs. So before she even applies the debuffs that she has on herself, she afflicts these 4 status effects, or status debuffs rather, to the enemy. So it raises the party's brave based on max brave, so now it batteries as well. Dispels 1 debuff for all allies except self. And it turns her HP attack to an HP attack plus, while now it's perfect, which is the buff that this grants, is active. And her HP plus raises her own brave by 20% of max brave, then follows it with an HP attack. Very, very loaded passive. Really does a lot for her character. Really good stuff. She does not have an EX ability at the moment, and her recommended artifacts are max brave 330 and attack 108. Needs the extra max brave space so she can hold all the brave she's going to be stealing. And yeah, good stuff. Good stuff for Yuffie. All right, and our last character in this batch is everyone's favorite bad boy from 8, Seifer. His Crystal 54, debuff, attack, and boost up. Moderately raises max brave by 40%, and his attack by 40% while an enemy is debuffed. Good stuff. His Crystal 55, No Mercy extension. Increases No Mercy's max uses by 1. Raises its number of hits to 2. Slightly raises its total potency. Triggers an HP attack when brave is over 80% max brave, and turns his HP attack to an HP attack plus for 6 turns after using No Mercy. So this HP attack plus, as that I mentioned earlier, is a 1-hit AoE ranged attack at 50% of his attack, followed by an AoE HP attack. Damage is distributed evenly. So that's a pretty loaded passive as well. We're seeing a little trend here with Yuffie and Seifer where these passives are just doing so much. You think his 55 is nuts. Let's check out his 60 here in just a second. So his Crystal 58 is buff speed up, moderately raises his speed by a medium amount while buffed. And his Crystal 60 is Bloodfest extension. So it increases Bloodfest max uses by 1, greatly raises its potency. Brave stolen from the target can overflow up to 150% of max brave. And it slightly raises the potency of max brave down. This now also grants the buff Sorceress's Knight for 6 turns. Sorceress's Knight raises brave, max brave, attack, and debuff success rate, and turns his brave attack to a brave attack plus for 6 turns after using Bloodfest. Wow. So, yeah, both of Seifer's Crystal 55 and 60 passives are just loaded and do so much for his abilities. I think Yuffie and him are unequivocally the 2 that benefit the most from these awakenings, because they both just get some really, really good stuff. He does not have an EX ability at the moment, NJP, and his recommended artifacts are Unruly Super Senior Boost 2-star, Max Brave 330, and Attack 108. So, yeah, so there we go. So there are all 6 of the characters, their new passives and whatnot. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and transition to the closing part of the video. Okay, and so here we are at the end of the video. So I think overall this Awakening batch is filled with a lot of good stuff and then some duds as well. I think Seifer, Yuffie, and Lilisette are the big 3 here that really get some great stuff for their Awakenings, helps their character out a lot. Lilisette was already really loaded when she released, since she was so late in the Crystal 50 era. And I think her Awakening just helps enhance what she already did really well. Whereas Yuffie and Seifer, their Awakenings just almost completely change how their characters act in a good way. Just gives them a lot more utility, a lot more potency on attacks, and they're just doing a lot more things now. So I think both those guys are sitting really well. Sazh, you know, he's going to be usable again. I think he'll be a great alternative to Ramza or Sith if you don't have either of them available for buffing. And, you know, he gets some extra potency buffs, which is, you know, always nice. And then Raijin and, who's the last one? Oh, I'm kicking myself right now because I can't remember. Raijin and Yang. Yang, you know, he gets some decent things. You know, raises the splash damage from kick, which, you know, is really the reason I see people use Yang, is for that splash damage for farming. And then Raijin's base kit already was pretty weak. His Awakening tries to fix that, but he just still isn't. He just isn't doing that much because he is restricted to having to be in that Thunder stance for his best, you know, potencies and his stat boosts. So I think Raijin's a dud. So me personally, I'll be Awakening Lilisette, Sazh, and I think that's it. I think that's it for this wave. I'm really excited about Lilisette. I used her a lot when she debuted. I drew on her debut banner, got her stuff. And Sazh, I mean, it's going to be good to get him back on the field, you know, since he's been on a long vacation after basically handing the game its ass for 3 straight months. So it'll be good to get him back out there in the trenches. I'd love to awaken Seifer and Yuffie, but I don't have either of their stuff. So unless I get their stuff on the banner, Chasing Lightning's EX, there'll be skips for me. But speaking of the banner, so a lot of people are hypothesizing that their banners are going to be Lightning EX, and then the 3 yellow crystal characters, and then the other banner then will be the 3 red characters plus the Mystery EX. My personal opinion is that it's going to be Vanille's EX. She's, you know, red crystal color. Her EX when it debuted in JP really didn't see a whole lot of use, and it was pretty glossed over. So I think if it released now, it would give the weapon and her character new life and really help her out. So that's my prediction for that. And yeah, you guys know how I feel about Lightning's EX. Her character, the EX helps her out a lot, actually makes her viable for a short time. So yeah, really good stuff there. So yeah, I just be very interesting to see where they go, because I could be completely wrong and it might not be Vanille's EX, in which case we'll wait and see. And another big thing a lot of people have been wondering is if Lightning is going to get her rework early. If Lightning gets her rework early, she would go from having the EX and being dominant for a month or so and dropping off to basically being dominant straight through Cosmos difficulty era for a long time. She would be a really strong option. Her rework just does so much for her. And while I think it's unlikely because of how strong and absolutely dominant it would make her, I'm holding out hope, because, you know, Lightning is waifu, and I want to use her as much as possible, and her rework would allow me to do that, rather than getting the EX, being able to use her for a month, and then seeing her just slowly but surely fall off the face of the earth. So we'll see what happens, guys. Anyway, so I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you found the video helpful. Feel free in the comments to let me know who you will be awakening. I think, like I said, I think, me personally, my opinion, there's 4 really great options here, and then the other 2 are kind of duds. But I'd be really curious to see who you guys are interested awakening, and if you'll be hitting the banners. So I will see you guys tomorrow for Lightning's EX draws. I'll be streaming that live if you'd like to check that out. Aside from that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Take it easy, and thanks again.